Hi, welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful week and you're ready for another Insider. This week we continue talking about websites, and we close this month of May with another very important aspect of having a website and choosing things for your website and getting it ready, which is choosing your domain and the hosting plan, your domain plan, etc. Everything regarding to these very important services that sometimes get overlooked and lead to a lot of heartache, and I have experienced that myself. So let's go and let's talk domains. So let's talk domains and hosting. And as I said in the introduction of this Insider, sometimes these plans are a little bit overlooked because we think, oh, well, it's irrelevant which company I choose for my business or for my website, etc. But think again, because it's not quite like that. And if you make the wrong choice and if you choose a company and something ends up going wrong, it might be weeks of stress and lots of money loss and things like that. So I would recommend that you always do your research, always do your homework, and choose the best plan for you, because it is the if we think about it, it is the basics of your website. Without a domain, you don't have a website. Without a place to host that website, you won't have a website published. So think about it. It's the two pillars of your website. It's these two things that you really need to think about those before you start. You need to know what you need, and you need to choose the best plan for your business. For example, domains. In terms of domains, you may choose a local domain. It all depends on your business. It all depends on what you want to do with your business. If you really want to niche down your business and just cater for one country, for example, then a local domain would be a good choice for you. But bear in mind that if you have a local domain, and when I say a local domain, I mean a country domain such as a .com.au or a .co.uk or a .pt, it's those domains that have the country name attached to it. Those may be a little bit more expensive. They usually are slightly more expensive, and they have more requirements for you to register. For example, and this is the case I know best, for you to register a domain in Australia that is a .com.au or any other type of domain that ends in AU, you will have to provide proof that you are actually a registered business in Australia. So that means you are eligible to register that domain. You cannot register a domain, an Australian domain, if you are a foreign company that does not do business in Australia or is not registered in Australia. And that's something that is very important to know before you register your business. For example, in my case, I have considered registering .com.au, and the first instances of updated words, we were a team of translators, and one of my team members was in the UK, so it wouldn't make sense to have a .com.au, and at the time we got the .com domain. But now, because I am in Australia, and if I am to recruit any colleagues for updated words, I will definitely choose within Australia, because the logistics of it are much better, and I would like to keep the NATI accreditation throughout and things like that. So I would maybe consider .com.au. However, because Updated Words is not a company and it's not registered, I am not sure how I could register a .com.au for Updated Words. However, being a sole trader, I think I would. So make sure you know. Even if you want to go for a local domain and you are not sure how the regulations work, make sure you do plenty of inquiries and know all the information, so then you can register your domain and know your domain, what you can do with it, if you can or cannot register. Do your research, see if that domain hasn't been taken already by another company, because that would be very upsetting, I would say. And then start choosing the companies. I would recommend the local company, even for the hosting plan, because that's the next step. You already have a domain, you register your domain, and now you need to host your website. And for the hosting service, there's always things that you also have to consider. First of all, see all the detail about what that particular plan offers you, what the company is offering for that particular plan. Some companies may offer you a plan that looks too good to be true, and that's because it is too good to be true. Some of them may offer you a hosting plan that sounds, affordable and good, but then they won't offer you WordPress. They will have their own page builder, which by my own experience can be really a hindrance, because they have their own templates, they have their own page builder. However, you cannot manipulate the template the way you want. There's a lot of features that you, for example, would have in a WordPress website that you do not have, or it's not offered in those particular plans, and then you end up missing out on a lot of things that are important on a website. So bear that in mind and make sure you read everything, including the fine print, because the fine print is where you find the juicy stuff that they don't want you to find. So read everything. And again, go for a local company. See if they have WordPress. It is very important that you have WordPress, that they offer you to have WordPress, because every day everyone uses WordPress. It's the most popular platform these days is WordPress, because it is very simple to do. Make sure that they offer you a SSL certificate. That is very good, because when clients access a website and they see the HTTPS and the little padlock, that means that your website is secure, and that gives reassurance to the client as well. It is good for you and it's good for the client. So make sure that they offer it. These certificates used to be quite expensive. These days, the basic version of these certificates are for free. So most hosting plans offer you that for free. So make sure that they do. The plan that you are looking at, make sure that it has that. Make sure that you can have an email account, and you can have, think of how many email accounts do you need for your business, and then see how many email accounts that particular plan allows you to have. That's very important to know as well. And then all these other services, but I think the basics are these, are the WordPress, the SSL, the email service. All these services are very important. And again, choose local. Not choosing local, sometimes we tend to go with these big companies, international companies, and we end up with a lot of heartache. That happened with me, and I have a video about this with Hostinger, and I'll leave the links below for these previous videos, where we sign up, me and a friend of mine sign up with this company, the advertising for Hostinger, and you probably are bombarded with ads for this company in your Facebook, everywhere. They are trying to advertise as much as possible, but beware, because they are a trap. The advertising is highly misleading, and then you end up signing up with a three-year hosting plan like I did. It was a big mistake, and then you are trapped for 3 years with a company that you are not happy with. In the case of a friend of mine, she signed up, she registered her domain. It was an Australian domain. They did not know how to deal with her domain. They failed to renew her domain, and the domain expired, went into probation, I think it's the name, mode. So the website was down. She did not have email. She did not have any of the services that she needed for her business. She was losing clients. She could not communicate with her suppliers either. It was a mess. And Ostinga did not solve the problem. It was an IT consultant that she contacted herself, and he was the one who contacted the authorities in Australia that tried to solve the problem. She's now with a company that is called Venture IP. It's an Australian company, and they are an accredited registrar as well. And she's very happy, and she went with a plan for 1 year, and she's now renewing for a 3-year plan with them as well, which is another thing that I recommend. Don't go for these big plans from the start, because if something goes wrong, you can always have that buffer that at the end of the year you can walk out. If you choose a 3-year plan, you are stuck. So please bear that in mind. If they have a 3-year plan, just choose the 1-year plan first to try and see how the company is, if you are happy with the service, if you are happy with everything. And then if you really are happy, then consider the bigger plans, because obviously there's savings to be done there. So this is the basic. Do your homework, know exactly what you want and what you need for your website, and go local as much as you can, because if something goes wrong, you can always go to an authority and complain, and that problem may be addressed. If you go in a company like Ostinga that is registered overseas, do not provide the phone number. Australian authorities cannot contact them, and you basically on your own. So bear this in mind and choose wisely. And that's all for today. I hope you really like this insider. I hope it helped you with this issue of domains and hosting plans. Certainly, I hope it does help you avoid traps like Hostinger and choose a much better provider. But please, if you have an experience with a provider, either good or bad, because I think it is important to share experiences, either they good or they bad. If you share a good experience, you're not only helping that company to get more clients and grow, but you also helping other people to find a good provider that will give them the right service. The same way that if you find a bad company such as Ostinga and you actually expose their practices and expose what they do, you also helping other people not to fall into the same traps and not have the same issues as you did. So I think it is very important, the power of reviews. I think it is very important to give a review of every service or product that we buy, because that helps that company change if there's something they need to change, and also helps them being recognized. The same way, if you have a bad experience, it helps them to realize what they're doing wrong. Not that I think the bad reviews are helping Ostinga, because in their particular case, if you leave a bad review, they delete it on the Facebook page. It happened to me in several occasions, and that's what they do to everyone. So some companies really don't want to change, but that's their prerogative, not ours. So that's why I did this video, just to make people aware of what they need and how they should go about this issue. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching, and of course, put a like on the video, subscribe the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new insider every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching. There will be a 2-week break, and I'll be back in 2 weeks. So have a good time. See you next time. Thank you. Bye.